And welcome back to the Fit Focus Forum, where we take the complexity out of fitness and put the focus back on action. We give high-achieving professionals, the ones juggling long work weeks, travel, stress, and a full life, the strategies they need to take control of their fitness without sacrificing their careers and their sanity. Welcome back, everybody. I did miss posting a podcast last week. That's my bad. 12 episodes in, missed my first one. Things were just a little bit crazy when I got back. So much to do. Being gone for 2 weeks in Spain, definitely not complaining, but as amazing as a 2-week vacation sounds when you're a small business owner, that doesn't really let your mind rest very much. So I was very happy to get back, catch up on things last week, and I'm super excited to be able to chat with you guys this week. First of all, I hope everyone's had an amazing week. I have spent my week, again, continuing to catch up from our vacation, but also listening to Madonna's Confessions 2 on repeat because it is absolutely fucking amazing. And I will tell you, I was incredibly concerned when she announced that she was making this album because Confessions is by far, in my opinion, her best album. And you know what? This bitch knocked it out of the park. It is phenomenal and such a wonderful story of her life as well. I think this at this point in anyone's career, to release a dance album that encapsulates your journey through your career is pretty fucking impressive. I mean, she's like 67 years old. I don't know. I'm just continually impressed by this woman. And it blows my mind anybody that talks shit about her doing anything just because of her age. She'll never let that stop her. And that is one of the reasons why she's one of my favorite people on earth. So let's jump into what we're talking about today because it's something that almost every client has asked me at one point or another. It usually sounds something like this: Russell, why am I hungry all the time? Or I just don't have enough willpower. Or my personal favorite, I think I'm addicted to food. If you've ever found yourself standing in front of the pantry 20 minutes after dinner wondering why you're already hungry again, today's episode is for you. Because here's what I want you to know right away. Excuse me. Most people aren't hungry because they lack discipline. They're hungry because they've accidentally built a lifestyle that makes hunger almost impossible to control. Think about that, because they're two very different problems. Now, before we get into nutrition, let's talk about something that's become way too common in fitness. People wear hunger like it's some fucking badge of honor. I'm starving. I'm surviving on 1,200 calories. I haven't eaten all day. Almost like the hungrier you are, the harder you're working. Somewhere along the way, the fitness industry convinced us that feeling miserable means that the diet is work. It doesn't. If your plan leaves you constantly obsessing about food, your body isn't failing. It's your plan. Because here's something most people never stop to think about. Hunger isn't a character flaw. It's one of the strongest survival mechanisms that your body has. Imagine if you simply forgot to eat. Thousands of years ago, that would have been a pretty terrible survival strategy, right? So your brain evolved to make sure that that never happens. When your body needs energy, it gets your attention. And it's not polite. It's aggressive. That's why hunger is so hard to ignore. It's literally designed that way. Now, let's clear up one of the biggest myths. People think hunger means that their body needs food. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it absolutely doesn't. Because there's actually different kinds of hunger. We have physical hunger, emotional hunger, habit hunger, and environmental hunger. And if you don't know the difference, you'll keep feeding all of them in exactly the same way. Physical hunger builds gradually. Right? Your stomach starts growling, your energy drops, you could eat almost anything. Emotional hunger, that shows up fast. You don't want chicken and broccoli, you want cookies, pizza, ice cream, a giant bowl of cereal, and I will admit right now that I did eat an entire box of cereal this week because I was stressed. And I just wanted to share that with you guys because even though I am a fitness professional, we are all human and we get to have a box of cereal every once in a while. You just can't do that shit all the time. But anyway, that is a completely different signal. I'll be able to say it. But then there's habit hunger. You always eat popcorn during a movie, so your brain expects popcorn every movie. Not because your body needs calories, it's because your brain loves routines. And then, this is my personal favorite, environmental hunger. Have you ever noticed you weren't hungry until someone walked into the office with donuts? Or you smelled fresh bread, or you saw your friend eating French fries. Well, congratulations. Your brain just got hijacked by your environment. Now let's talk about one of the biggest reasons people stay hungry. That's protein. I cannot tell you, my friends, how many food logs I review every week where someone tells me I'm starving all day. And then I look at their meals and they had coffee for breakfast, salad with almost no protein for lunch, protein bar in the afternoon, and then they wonder why they demolished an entire pizza that night. Protein is the most filling macronutrient we have. It slows digestion, helps stabilize appetite, protects muscle while dieting, and yet it's usually the nutrient people eat the least early in the day. Then they spend the evening trying to out eat biology. Another huge reason. People are trying to survive on foods that simply don't keep them full. Think about the difference between 500 calories of a soda and 500 calories of grilled chicken, potatoes, and vegetables. You got the same calories, but you have a completely different experience. One disappears in 5 minutes. The other is can keep you satisfied for hours. This is why I always tell clients, stop asking, how can I eat less? And start asking, how can I stay fuller on the calories I'm already eating? Forgive me, I have a little bit of a cough today as well. That calorie question is a much smarter question. Now, let's talk about sleep, because you might not think about this one. It surprises people every time. Ever notice how after a terrible night's sleep, you're suddenly craving everything? That's not you being weak, that's biology. When you're sleep deprived, your hunger hormones change, your appetite increases, your cravings go through the roof. And somehow, the foods you crave aren't grilled salmon and asparagus, right? Wouldn't that be nice? Funny how that works. You want sugar, you want fat, you want highly processed foods. Your brain is simply looking for fast energy, which means sometimes the solution to overeating starts the night before. Now, let's add stress into this equation, because this one hits a lot of you and a lot of the guys that we coach. You're working 60 hours a week, meetings all day, constant emails, travel, deadlines. Then you finally get home, right? And suddenly you're standing in the kitchen eating everything that you can find. Was that hunger? Maybe. It's possible. Or maybe food became your off switch. You know, for a lot of people, food isn't just fuel. It's relief, absolutely comfort. It's definitely celebration. And I'm Italian, so we celebrate with food for everything. But it's also stress management. And until you recognize that, you'll keep blaming yourself instead of solving the actual problem. Now, here's another mistake I see constantly. People save almost all their calories for dinner. They barely eat all freaking day. Then they're shocked when they can't stop eating at night. Imagine trying to hold your breath underwater all day long, right? Eventually, you're going to come up and you're going to be gasping for air, right? Taking in all of that air that you need, more than you probably need at the moment. Your appetite works the same way. The longer you ignore it, the louder it becomes. And, you know, this brings me to intermittent fasting. It could still work, right? Intermittent fasting, absolutely. But if your fasting window ends with you eating everything that isn't nailed down, it's probably not the right strategy for you. And that's okay. Remember, nutrition isn't about proving how tough you are. It's about finding what you can consistently do right now. I want to talk about something that nobody wants to hear. Sometimes you're supposed to be a little bit hungry. And if you're in a caloric deficit, there will be moments where you notice hunger. My friends, that is absolutely normal. The goal isn't eliminating hunger altogether. The goal is making it manageable, because there's a massive difference between I'm ready for lunch and I'm so hungry I could fucking eat the couch. One is normal. The other one usually means something in your plan needs fixing. Now, here's one of the biggest mindset shifts I can give you. Stop treating hunger like an emergency. Most people panic the second they feel hungry. I need food immediately. Not necessarily. Sometimes hunger is just information. Maybe it's time to eat. Maybe you need more protein. Maybe you're thirsty. Maybe you're just bored. Maybe you've been scrolling food videos for 30 minutes on Instagram. The feeling itself isn't the problem. How you respond to it is. And finally, let's once and for all stop blaming willpower. Willpower is so fucking unreliable. It changes depending on your sleep, your stress, your environment, your mood. That's why successful people don't build their nutrition around willpower. They build it around systems. Meals with enough protein, foods they actually enjoy, keeping tempting foods out of sight. We don't keep shit in our house. Every once in a while, I'll like buy a really dark chocolate bar, or I bought that box of cereal, which lasted about 45 minutes the other day. But other than that, everything in our house is healthy. And there's a reason for that. It's not because we don't enjoy the other stuff, but we both smoke pot. So I guarantee you, if that stuff was in the house, we'd be reaching for potato chips and cookies rather than the massive amounts of fruit that we keep in the fridge, because that's what we eat when we're high. You want to build systems around meals with enough protein, foods you actually enjoy, keeping tempting foods out of sight, as I said, planning ahead for restaurants, having healthy snacks available, removing unnecessary decisions. Because every good system requires less willpower. And that's exactly what sustainable fitness should do. Now, let's bring this all back to the question that we started with. Why am I always hungry? For most people, it isn't because they're broken. It isn't because they have no discipline. It's because they're under eating protein, choosing foods that don't satisfy them, running on too little sleep, trying to outwork stress, or following a diet they were never meant to sustain. And the beautiful thing is, every one of those problems has a solution. You don't need to become mentally tougher. You need a better strategy. And that's exactly why we built the modified macro method. We don't teach people how to ignore hunger. We teach them how to work with it, how to eat enough protein, how to build meals that actually satisfy them, how to lose body fat without spending every waking minute thinking about food. Because if your diet constantly leaves you hungry, eventually your hunger is going to win. It's like the casino. The hunger is going to win every time. And it's not because you're weak. It's because you're human. And after coaching thousands of people, I can tell you something with complete confidence. The people who maintain incredible physiques aren't the ones with the most willpower. They're the ones who've created an environment where they don't need as much of it. That really is the secret. So if you take one thing away from today's episode, let it be this. Stop asking, why am I so weak? You are not weak. Start asking, what is my hunger trying to tell me? Because once you understand the difference, everything changes. FitFam, thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Fit Focus Forum. I truly appreciate every single one of you who spends part of your week with me. If you found this episode helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you share it with a friend. Because the more people we can educate with evidence-based fitness information, the more people we can help stop blaming ourselves and start building strategies that actually work. And if you're tired of feeling hungry all the time, constantly fighting cravings and wondering why every diet seems to end the same way, we'd love to help. Head over to Instagram and follow us at Statham Fitness. That's Stathom Fitness, all one word. It's my middle name, spelled a little bit differently than Jason Statham. Stathom. Send me the keyword daddy in a DM. That's right, daddy. And we'll send you information about the modified macro method and see if it's a good fit for you. As always, thank you for being here. Thank you for trusting me. Keep asking questions, keep learning, keep showing up, and remember, hunger isn't a sign that you're weak. It's your body's way of communicating with you. The better you learn to listen to it instead of fighting it, the easier fitness becomes. And I'll see you next week on the Fit Focus Forum.